Hello everyone, my name is Arya Rao. I'm the president of CUSJ and I'd like to welcome you to our virtual interest meeting for the 2021 school year. CUSJ strives to be a community for student scientists. Pictured here is our editorial board from last year. Obviously, we went online at the end of last year, so we've got some Facebook profile pictures to make up for that, but we're a pretty tight-knit crew. CUSJ is composed of a few things. Our editorial board works on and publishes our two student research journals, the Undergraduate Science Journal and the Junior Science Journal, which is for high school students. Then we have events that we put on, also planned by our editorial board. We have panels, workshops, socials, and I'll get to those in a little bit. And then we do outreach with local organizations, high schools, etc. CUSJ, like I said earlier, serves to be a hub for the student scientist community at Columbia and beyond, and we also strive to promote high publication quality. CUSJ's editorial board is composed of 7 committees. If accepted to CUSJ's editorial board, then you'll be placed in one of these 7 committees. We'll start with CUSJ, which is the committee that runs the undergraduate journal. They're responsible for soliciting submissions, printing the journal, promoting the journal, defining the editorial process for the journal, that kind of thing. They also work on 2 events. First of all, their annual spring symposium, where we bring in authors from both our junior journal and our undergraduate journal to present their research. And the second, which is new this year and I'm very excited about, is our conference on undergraduate scientific journalism, where we're going to collaborate with a few science journals from across the nation to discuss research practice and ethics, editing guidelines, and that kind of thing. You can submit to CUSJ as an undergraduate by visiting our website, cusj.columbia.edu, and you can also check out some of our past articles there. CJSJ does something pretty similar, but for our junior journal, the high school journal. They solicit submissions, they print the journal, they promote high school research, and they define the editorial process for that journal. I should make it clear that regardless of whether you're serving on CUSJ or CJSJ, you will be editing articles for both journals. Our entire editorial board participates in that. CUSJ and CJSJ are responsible for managing those particular journals. Our outreach committee is responsible for commanding a dynamic space in the Columbia community and beyond. So they structure our alumni network, they coordinate with local high schools, and they develop mentorship within the Columbia community. Our events committee puts on a variety of events that cater to the student scientist community at Columbia throughout the year. Some examples are here. Our MD versus PhD versus MD PhD panel is very popular. We have a data science in the midterms event. We had that 2 years ago, I think, and this year we're going to follow it up with a sequel for the 2020 election. Our finance committee works pretty closely with the events committee. They're making sure that the money gets where it needs to go. They print the journals, they establish advertising connections, they generate revenue to support our other programming, and they also work on fundraising and philanthropy, sometimes in conjunction with the outreach committee. Our communications committee is responsible for a lot of what you guys have been seeing on Facebook and Instagram and email. They're responsible for making sure the Columbia community and beyond knows about CUSJ. So we do that through our newsletters, our social media, and we also just started a podcast, which I'm really excited about. You can check it out on YouTube and pretty soon on Spotify. Internal Affairs is the committee that manages the social affairs of CUSJ. We do fun things together all the time, and Internal Affairs is the group that plans that. The picture here is us at a Mexican restaurant in Morningside Heights last summer, which was pretty fun. So what will you get from CUSJ? Well, you'll get experience in academic publishing. I think that's important to note because there's no other science club in which you'll get that kind of experience. You'll also get experience with science advocacy, a good understanding of research ethics and practice, and great resources for career and grad school planning and advice. The older members in CUSJ are invaluable. They were invaluable for me, and I'm sure they will be for you too. So how can you get involved with CUSJ? You can apply to our editorial board, which is those 7 committees I just went through. And if you don't want to be on the editorial board, you can attend our events throughout the semester. If you have any questions, feel free to contact CUSJ at columbia.edu. Follow us on social media, and this link right here will allow you to join our mailing list. The editorial application is already out. It dropped at 5 p.m. yesterday. It's due on Wednesday, September 9th. We'll contact you regarding an interview on Thursday, September 10th. And we'll have interviews that Friday and Saturday, the 11th and the 12th. Select applicants might be invited for a second round interview on that Sunday. We'll send more information as it comes. The application consists of a few short answer questions so we can get a sense of who you are and where you might fit in CUSJ. And then we have a first round interview to get to know you better. You do not need any experience in publishing or research to apply, though both of these things might give you better insight into what your time in CUSJ might be like. All you need is an interest in academic scientific journalism. I'm going to now turn to some of the questions we got at our live interest meeting. Once joining, is there a training on how to edit academic papers, or is the expectation that you would know how to do that already? Yes, we do trainings once or twice a semester. If most of the editing process happens after February, what do board members do before then? We actually have 2 editing cycles. Our junior high school journal has its submission deadline in October. The fall semester is devoted to editing that. The spring semester is devoted to CUSJ because its submission deadline is in February. Can we join the club in the spring semester, or are applications only open in the fall? Applications are only open in the fall. The first year is joining CUSJ. What will the time commitment look like? How many hours per week across the year? We have weekly meetings at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays, and those are just an hour long, and that's all you're expected to put in. By joining editorial board, would you be precluding yourself from submitting to CUSJ? Yes, you wouldn't be able to submit to CUSJ if you were a part of the editorial board. What are some examples of science advocacy CUSJ is involved in? We are having an event this fall where we're bringing high school students into Columbia Labs virtually, of course, to give them a sense of what research is like. I think that's a pretty good example. Where will the editorial board application be released? You can find it on our Facebook. If you're on our mailing list, we emailed it out. And if for some reason you can't find us, just shoot us an email. So to clarify, everyone does editing and is also in one other committee. No, so you're assigned to a committee and you're in that committee and that's it. But you will be asked to edit articles. Are there any events or initiatives specifically targeted toward women in STEM? Not at the moment, but I'd love it, and I think we should do that. When you say edit articles, what's edited? Is it limited to grammar and wording, or does it include content as well? Has there ever been a situation when an author sees the edited final product and thinks CUSJ has changed too much? When we edit articles, we only give suggestions to the author, so every change that is made is done by the author themselves. Therefore, it's incredibly rare, and I don't think I've ever seen an author be unhappy with any of the suggestions we've given, because they've changed it themselves. And no, not limited to grammar and wording. We also look out for scientific fallacy and that kind of thing. How big is eBoard? Around 40 people. Do you have to apply to join the eBoard to join any of the committees? Yes. Can you explain the types of content you publish more? So we publish original research articles and review articles in both our high school journal and our undergraduate journal. How will operations be affected by being all online? We'll still have our weekly meeting at 7 p.m. every week online over Zoom, and I don't anticipate any changes with that. It should be pretty seamless. Time commitment, yep, 1 hour a week. Are the hourly meetings on Sundays composed of every member of every committee? Yes. Does this mean 30 people, 40 people in all of the committees combined? Yes. When you apply, do you apply for a specific committee? No, we'll assign you after you're accepted. And lastly, would you say joining CUSJ and gaining experience has helped you when submitting to other publications? Absolutely, and I think any other editor of CUSJ would say the same. Okay, I think that's all of it. So thank you so much for watching this little video on CUSJ. And if you have any questions, find us on social media or send us an email at cusj.columbia.edu. Thank you.